Hi guys, and welcome today to another session with Turno. John is going to be giving us a demo about the Turno product today and its great capabilities. So John, welcome firstly, and let's get over to some questions. So the
Perfect.
first one, please provide a brief overview of your company and the primary products or services you offer for hosts.
Great. Yeah. So Turno is a SaaS cleaning platform, and we are a platform dedicated to automating the cleaning and turnover process for your short-term rentals and mid-term rentals. And we are also the largest cleaner marketplace in the world with over 55,000 active cleaners.
Oh, that's a lot. Okay, so which of the following does your product or service specialize in? Short, mid, or long-term rentals?
Short and mid for sure. We can also work with long-term, but it's not really our forte. It's not really our ICP, but short-term is probably our ICP, but we also work with mid-term as well.
And what sets your product or service apart from your competitors in the market? What are your unique selling points?
Well, what probably sets us out the most would be our cleaner marketplace. No one else in the short-term rental vacation rental industry has an active cleaner marketplace. So that's our big big thing that separates us from the rest. The other things are just the ease of use. Some of the other solutions out there are a little more clunky or a little more, I don't want to say robust is like robust is a good thing. But it also, depending on your size, could be too much for certain users. So I think those are the two big things that set us apart.
Can you what level of expertise is required to use your product or service effectively, and do you provide any training or support to help hosts get started?
Yeah, I'm going to answer both those questions. I'm going to answer in reverse. Yes, we provide as much hand holding as you need. There's videos, there's walkthroughs, there's demos, we have our customer service gets rewards for how our NPS scores are like peaking. You can't really touch our customer success. So yes, we support that. And secondly, anyone can use Turno. If you have an Airbnb and you know how to go ahead and you can navigate Instagram or any of those things, you can go ahead and easily use Turno.
Can you give us 2 to 3 common challenges that your product or service addresses? Specific challenges faced by hosts, such as guest communication, cleaning management, price optimization. Just as an overview, those are the kind of questions that are standard, but give us 2 to 3 common challenges that your product or service addresses.
I mean, the biggest challenge we address is we automate your cleans, right? So when, we are addressing time, and by addressing time, we're addressing, a financial savings as well, because if you're sitting there having to allocate, hours a week to coordinating, scheduling your cleaners to come into this property, or if that cleaner can no longer be there, and then you have to reschedule or find someone else to fill that in, our automation does all that for you. So by saving you time, you're saving your resources and allowing you as a property manager or a host to go in and focus your efforts on other things, maybe scaling or whatever you're looking to go ahead and do, in your short-term rental, whatever you're trying to do.
How does your pricing model work? Are there any setup fees, monthly subscriptions, or additional costs that hosts should be aware of?
Yes, there are fees. It depends how you connect with us, right? So we have partnerships with different property management softwares, and some of them we are included, some of them we are not. So it depends on what property management software you are on, whether our SaaS platform is included or not, or if it's free for a certain amount of time and then you pay a subscription moving forward. So we are subscription-based SaaS products. Sometimes our relationship with a PMS will allow that to be negated. Additionally, we have 2 other pricing models. They are, if you use our marketplace to find a cleaner, there's a percentage of what you pay the cleaner actually comes out of, what, that's how we make our money, right? So we're the largest, cleaner marketplace in the world. So say you're paying your cleaner, I'm a host, I'm paying my cleaner 100, whatever, euros, pounds, US dollars, whatever, then, maybe there's a 5% or 8% on top of that. So if say it's international, it's 8%. Then if you would pay the cleaner 100, whatever that may be, currency, then we would charge you 108. The cleaner would get 100. We would get the 8.
Got you. What level of?
I'm sorry. In addition to that, that was one of the two. In addition to that, we have an auto pay functionality, which allows you to pay the cleaners right through our app. Again, it's kind of hands off, and there's a little bit of a percentage that we take on that as well.
And that differs as well because it's a automated versus a bidding market.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, well, you can set auto pay up for your cleaners that are already in your system, but you can also set auto pay up for the marketplace, right? So you're going to automatically pay them through the system.
What level of customization or flexibility does your product or service offer to cater to the unique needs of different hosts and their properties?
A tremendous amount, at each property level. So, say I'm a host, I have 5 properties I want to use Turno to go ahead and automate those cleans. At each individual property level, you can go ahead and customize, cleaning instructions, checklists. You can have different, this property, I'm going to have this cleaner as my primary and this cleaner as my backup but on this property, that cleaner that was on the other property isn't going to ever see these cleans. I mean, truly, as granular as you'd like to get, you can get there with Turno.
Okay, awesome. And what kind of sort of customer support do you guys provide? Is it 24/7, 7 days a week? What does that look like?
24/7, 7 days a week. You can reach our chat functionality and then also our phone from there. Our chat is on all the time. It's right in the app. You can click right on it. And if they don't have the answer, or if it's a sales question, it's out of their scope, they'll go ahead. They have the ability to go ahead and give the sales team their calendar links or other team members' calendar links, so you can book a more in-depth meeting. But at any moment, at any time, we have agents available to answer your questions.
How user-friendly and intuitive is your platform?
It's why we win. It's a big reason why we're successful. It's super intuitive. It's super user friendly. It scales with you. It's anyone can use it.
Is there anything else that you would like to add to the set or the things that set your product or service apart that you think would be valuable for hosts to know?
Yeah, great question. We are, and this is starting in the U.S. first. I know this is kind of a global conversation here, but in the U.S. first, and then we'll expand globally. We are adding a handyman service as well to our Turno marketplace. So currently today, you can go ahead and automate cleans. You can also automate some maintenance aspects of it based on like recurring projects and stuff like that. But we're bringing in a handyman service into our marketplace, so that we're kind of seeding it in the US, and then we'll scale it from there. But it's a way to, I need some painting done, I need some basic handyman services, and I'm in this metropolitan area. Who is available that can do this? Great. All right, I could search and schedule them right through the app as well. So we're trying to bring the ability to, right now we have 55,000 housekeepers and cleaners, but now let's add some handyman services into that as well. But eventually it's going to turn into, I need HVAC, I need plumbing, I need, but all these contractors will have experience in the short-term rental, vacation rental space as well. So they have experience dealing with hosts, dealing with people that are remote, and they are set up in the app to be paid in that way. So that's coming, and we actually just had a big webinar today, that went out today talking about it. So Yeah, look for that if you want some more detailed information on that. And I think they're going to show the whole wireframe and how that's all going to come out.
Wow. Okay, and what are the future scopes of your products or services? Give us a little bit of a meat of what the host can expect.
I think that was the big one, right? That's the big, future scope. We're coming out with a marketplace that is that it's more expansive than just cleaners. Additionally, a big focus of mine coming in is like, how do we expand our services for hosts? Right now, still our meat and potatoes is someone with one or two properties, right? The majority of our hosts have one property, right? They are an Airbnb host, they have one property. But how do we go ahead and expand and meet the needs of property managers that have 30, 40, 50, 100, 500 properties, right? Currently, most of them are using a enterprise level software. We have some of those on our platform, right? But they're using a different software that is, in our opinion, maybe not as user friendly, a little more clunky. And so how do we go ahead and meet the needs of those enterprise users that have very specific needs, right? They have different API, needs with a PMS. They need to be able to push and pull data, things like financials and, accounting. And these things are very, very important. And this data that we can go ahead and give them access to, which today we might not be doing, right? We're very much we're pulling data from the PMS to make the clean possible, to go ahead and to make it smooth for the hosts. But how can we go ahead and meet the needs of enterprise? And that's a focus for us as well.
So you're saying that you could potentially also push the data back into the PMSs so that
it's coming.
Manage their financial stuff in one central place instead of having to change different places.
Yeah, and think of it as as from you as a technologist, that a serial technologist, right? Like understanding that it's more than just financials. It's communications. It's all different pieces of the puzzle that I'm an enterprise user. I have over 150 properties. I look at that PMS as a source of truth, not the other ancillary products that I'm using, right? I want all those ancillary products to go ahead and communicate with the PMS, and that be my source of truth. And that's the next logical step for us in working with enterprise.
And obviously a big conversation is AI. What does that look like for you guys? What is the roadmap?
Yeah, great question. We're in the midst of it, right? We're already using certain AI functionalities to just schedule different things and clean. A lot of what we're doing is based on algorithms and looking at different APIs and finding the least course or the least resistance to get from point A to point B, right? But how do we go ahead and improve that? Well, a lot of that is through communication, chat functionality, messaging. Maybe it's recommendations as far as cleaners based on cleaners ratings. There's so many different directions that we're already behind the scenes working on, and some things that are kind of under tight lip here that we're working on as well. But it's AI is a big focus of what we're doing.
Awesome.
And it has to be, right? If not, we're it had to be 2 years ago or we're behind the ball, right?
Can you walk us through the process of setting up your service and using your product, etc.?
Yeah, let me go ahead and pull up my screen here, and it's pretty simple process. Let me share my screen. I didn't really look at this here. Share screen. Here we go. So depending, and there's many different ways to connect with Turno. You can either go to, here I could just pull up turno.com, right? And we can go to the website, and it's as simple as find your next cleaner or sign up now or sign up. There's so many different buttons that will bring you to the same place. But once you get to that place, and it's a few things that we're going to ask you for, first of all, can you see my screen still? Am I sharing? Okay, yeah. Perfect. All right. New to Zoho. So, you're here and you're going to get there. But ultimately, after, you know, connecting with some sort of calendar, whether it be your Airbnb calendar or a PMS calendar, and connecting a credit card, you know, even if it's, you know, free through a PMS, you still have to connect it in case there's any ancillary fees that pop up. You're going to have access to Turno, right? And if you've connected to the calendar, your properties are going to show up here, and the app shows up in a couple different ways. There's two different apps for Turno. There's Turno for hosts, which is you all, right? And then there's Turno for cleaners, and they're both mobile and they're both desktop ready. The Turno for cleaners, every one of your cleaners needs to download it, and it just automates everything. It's pretty simple to use. But here's, you know, you have your dashboard, and obviously it's telling me to do all the, you know, it walks you through. Take the tour, find a new cleaner. You talked earlier about how easy is it to use. Well, we can walk you through all of these different steps and show you how to do it. And if you don't want to go ahead and talk to our customer service up here, it will walk you right through it. It's pretty simple. Connect with Airbnb if you haven't done so already, right? I already have, so I'll just keep that on there for showing. Here right now, I have two properties. I'm on the dashboard here, but I can go to my property section and I can see the two properties.
The dashboard as you go along?
What's that?
How customizable is the dashboard as you go along?
Yeah, the dashboard is what it is today. There isn't really much you can customize it. This is your views, right? You have, most don't live on the dashboard once you set it up. Most are living, you know what you need. You're coming in, you're living in your projects area, you're living in your setup areas or your properties, your checklist, your inventory. You might look at your team, but most on your day-to-day basis, you're looking at either your schedule or your list of your upcoming projects, right? And projects are cleans, they're maintenance, they're whatever they may be. That's where they live, right? So I have, in this demo environment, I have two properties. One is connected to a calendar. So this Kensington Boulevard property, you're going to see Airbnb, reservations that are coming in here. And then up top here is your cleans. I haven't scheduled any of my teammates to this, but I can go ahead and add teammates right to this clean. The nice thing is at the property level, we can go to this Kensington Boulevard, and this is a new demo environment. So I'm building it right now. So it's not fully built out. Let me go back to show you what it is here at the property level.
So first, for a new host coming in, they're going to go and get their properties in here. Are they doing that by going to Airbnb and pulling it in, or creating the new property here first and connecting?
A couple different ways. One of the first things you do is they're going to ask you in that dashboard, it's going to walk you through, but it's going to ask you to go ahead and integrate, right? So I can look at my integrations here, and if you're with a PMS or you're just with Airbnb, it's going to bring you to this page here. It's going to show our OTAs we're connected with and the different PMSs that we have an API with. Okay. So lots and lots and lots of APIs. And then you're going to connect through here. Once you connect with, push the button to connect to either whether it's a PMS or it is a, whatever OTA you want to go ahead and connect with, then it's going to go ahead and have you log into that, whether it be Airbnb or look into, into Avantio here, log into that, and it's going to ask you to go ahead. Do you want to sync all your properties? Yes, great. Then all your properties will come over, and then it will allow you to create a different alias. For example, if you have to choose an alias, how you want it to show up in Turno, because maybe on Airbnb it's the address, but in Turno you want it to show that it's property ABC, whatever. So you do that, and then once you hit the buttons, they'll create all your properties in Turno.
So it's a normal linking process, in other words, that you're trying to use, and then you're just giving a list of access to these properties. What would be the next step for hosts?
The next step for hosts from here would be to go ahead and let's add your team to the system. So you'd go down to my team if you don't have any teammates, and there's a couple different ways to do that, right? So you can go ahead and invite my teammates. So you already have your own cleaners, so you want to add to the app. I can go ahead and invite my teammates, and I'm going to add them. You put their name. You can invite them via SMS, via WhatsApp, or via email. So we don't care which one you use. Select the roles that you want them to be available to show up for inspections. And maybe this is only for pool cleaning. This is your pool cleaning person, right? So you could add them all if you'd like, right? There's no limit. But I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. This person works for me full-time. Yes, no. You can send a message, hit next, and it will send them an invitation to go ahead and join your team and to download the Turno for Cleaners app.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then you also have the ability to add co-hosts to your team, right? So co-host is basically another admin to Turno, right? On the Turno for host side. So I can invite co-hosts, invite them the same way, and they're going to come in and basically you can give them, like, you can remove some limit, some of the things they could see. Maybe they're only co-hosts for a certain amount of properties, but they're going to have access to most things, but they just can't delete you and to change that type of thing. But you're entrusting them with, if you're adding a co-host, there's someone you trust. Okay. Not just some rando person that that's how we kind of run it today. Then you also have the ability to find more cleaners in your area, right? So this is our cleaner marketplace. So I can go ahead and click find more cleaners in my area. And then it will go through all right, which property is it for a specific property or a new property? We'll choose this property here, right? We'll hit next. And then great, it's found it. I live in Fort Wayne, Indiana. So here's a property in Fort Wayne. I've put in, it's going to ask you for bedrooms, beds, baths, unit size. So I said, I don't know, but I know. Describe my cleaning needs, right?
And that's how to give the information to the marketplace so that when they're quoting you or whatever it may be, they have the information that they would normally ask in order to provide you an estimation or quote. Am I understanding that correctly?
Right. Yeah. Yep. So, it takes approximately, I want you to wash and dry my linens. I want you, the cleaner needs to do cleaning supplies, but maybe I have my own cleaning supplies, right? It takes 3 hours. I have 5 turns a month, right? Save this for next future. I can save this, and then I can go ahead and find cleaners. I don't really want to hit this button because I don't necessarily want to give cleaners like a, well, let's see. We'll do a live here. Let's see how many, see if I get any auto bids. Sorry, cleaners in Fort Wayne that are going to get a ghost, a ghost bid. Congrats. So here, and now we're going to see if I start getting bids. So this is look, I got a cleaner bid already, right? So Jessica has come with a background check. She averages $155 per project. This bid expires in 2 days. So a bid isn't locking you in stone, right? It's just it's a suggestion, right? If I went ahead and clicked on Jessica, I could add her to my team. I can learn more about Jessica, right? But right here, I'm just saving her to my contacts, which will add her to my team. And then once she's saved to my contacts, I can then go ahead and start communicating with her, right? And say, hey, Jessica, based on your bio and based on your Airbnb guest rating and host rating, I think this is, we're a great fit, but I only pay my cleaners $120. Can you meet me there? So you can negotiate back and forth, and then she's going to say yes or no. And then perfect. And then I could go ahead, if I added her to my team, which I'm not going to do because she's going to be pretty disappointed. I can then go ahead and set at the property level. Let me go to a property. My primary and secondary cleaners. So if I go to this Kensington Boulevard that I had pulled up, and normally there'd be photos there. I need to make this. I can go ahead and go to my teammates, and I can add here. I'd have the ability to go ahead and add a primary cleaner and a secondary cleaner. So I can have multiple primary cleaners. So say you have a team of 5 cleaners and 3 of those cleaners are your primary. Whoever accepts that clean first gets it. Right. Gotcha. And then if you only have 1 primary and then 4 backups, that 1 primary would go ahead and get the clean. If they couldn't do it, it would go to the backups to see who would come.
When you say going to the backups in some sort of way or form, the system is alerting them and sending them a notification either on WhatsApp, SMS, or the Turno app saying that, hey, there's an upcoming booking for this property. Would you like to accept it? This is the price. And they would just simply go on, accept it. And in doing so, it's kind of contracting them for that clean. Is that the right way of thinking about it?
Yeah, absolutely. And so it's based on so cleans are generated automatically based on checkouts, right? So checkout,
check-in or
on checkouts, right?
Okay.
So a checkout is, here at 11 a.m. on, Friday here. So a clean is scheduled for 11 a.m. at the checkout time. So the cleaner is, if I had here at this clean, a teammate assigned as the primary, they would automatically be scheduled this at that date, right? If they couldn't accept it, they would decline it, and then it would go to a backup cleaner. And if maybe there's no backup cleaner, then they would decline it, and then you would know as the host, be like, I need to find a cleaner here. But the nice thing is, if you have a team that whether you found through the marketplace or you have it on your own and you trust them to do that, they're going to go ahead and automatically be scheduled based on. So I could schedule, say I had 10 properties. I can have Sarah be the primary on these 5. I can have Jack be the primary on these 5. And anytime that property gets a new clean, Sarah's scheduled.
Could you also have them both as primary, and let's say both of them say, well, I'm going to be in that area and I'll take these cleans, and the other person goes and says, well, I'll take those cleans. And
absolutely.
Does it automatically, like a calendar syncing, make sure that there's no double overlaps and things like that?
Yep. So based on the sync through the PMS, so if you're connecting through a PMS, it will connect all the calendars that are connected to the PMS. And the cool thing about it too is, say at the Airbnb or booking, or at the direct booking level, say through Hostaway or Guesty or whatever PMS, right? I can't remember what, like, our past conversations, what PMS you're using. But if they extended their stay a day or got a late checkout, it would automatically update, and it would alert the cleaner that, oh, this checkout actually was pushed to tomorrow, or this checkout, they got a late checkout and it's 4 hours later. So that's all automatic.
Yeah, that's very clever. And then what about check-ins? Because I heard you say check-outs, but I didn't hear about the check-ins.
So we automate project. So projects, we have different type of projects. We have cleans, we have check-in, welcoming, checkout, departure, inspections, linen delivery, maintenance, pool cleaning, right? The ones that we can automate today based on calendar are cleanings, check-ins, obviously, and inspections, right? So these are based on the calendar is automatically set. Now I can go ahead and also I can say create a maintenance project, right? That is for this property, that is based on,
right? Like a chicken inspection, because like a refresh. So if the property was cleaned, technically should be cleaned and ready. But let's say you want to schedule somebody just to go and open up the windows, switch on the lights, check everything's nice and clean. You can automate that, right?
Correct. We can today. We're going to take it a step further to go ahead, and today we can automate the check-in or inspection based on, that would be actually fall under the inspection set. The check-in was being like, I want to personally meet somebody there, right? And here's the physical keys. I'm meeting you at the property. That's what we considered a check-in. The inspection, we could go ahead and you could schedule that inspection similarly to, to do exactly, open up, turn on the lights, make sure it's ready to go, fluff the pillows, do whatever you need to do.
Is that a rule set that you can create, that it automatically generates those projects?
Yeah, so you can go ahead, and if you want to go ahead and set a check-in or an inspection will automatically, you can go ahead and create a checklist that assigns to that those are the things that you need to do when you go up for that inspection.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And so the checklists are something that's pretty cool too. And I'll get into that in just one second. I just wanted to show you that I could do I can create repeating projects. So maintenance I can't do based on a calendar, like, because it doesn't necessarily make sense today, right? Because we don't have a maintenance marketplace. It's not some, but what I can do is I can do repeating maintenance projects. So say I have a preventative maintenance that's say it's I want every three months I want to go check the smoke alarms, right? I could do those type of things, and I can do a repeating projects based on, starting on the 1st of every month, or what's that needs to be in the future, but I could have it set to weekly, monthly, or yearly, right?
Yes.
So, and I could assign that to a specific person that on the 1st of every month that they're going to, or first every 3 months, they're going to go out and we're going to do these type of things. So
like a pool, for example. I saw you have it in Dropbox, so you could schedule.
Yeah, I could create a pool cleaning that is weekly.
Yeah, exactly.
Every 3 weeks, or I could do that, right? So I could go ahead and start here. We'll say on the 22nd, and this is a weekly, right? Add a manual project, so it's repeating every week at this time. There's a pool cleaning.
Gotcha.
Yep, we can do all that, and then I can have a pool cleaning checklist assigned to that as well. So we're kind of talking about checklists. We have an extensive checklist program that allows users to go and hosts to go ahead and really get granular at the unit level, if you'd like, what exactly the cleaners need to do, right? So I'm a cleaner. I've gone into, first of all, I've showed up at my property. I've started clean, right? So we have geolocation too that will let you know if your cleaner is actually on property or not, right? So if they start clean and they're 10 kilometers down the road, right? It's a little come on, but you can kind of have a live look into where they are on their checklist as well. So you kind of look in and see how they're doing. But we can go ahead and I don't really have I can look at popular checklists here as well. So you can create your own checklists, or you can also look at a bunch of checklists that globally have been shared. They've been made public. For example, this checklist has been, shared over 10,000 times. Or this Airbnb cleaning list, I can look, this is 2,000 times. So let me go look at this cleaning list. And then I can copy it and create my own, right? I can use this as a template for myself and create my own, so sometimes creating checklists are hard. You're like starting out and you're like, I don't know exactly what do my cleaners need to do? Well, these are some really great examples of what other people are using for their cleaner checklists. Wipe down surface areas, inspection, but I can go ahead and use this. And then, but I can also make it mandatory for them to go ahead and take a photo at certain sections with the app. And then the app Turno for cleaners will timestamp that photo as well. They also have the ability to report problems when they're in the property, right? So I'm at the property, I see it that a chair is broken, and I cleaned it last time, I knew it wasn't broken. I can go ahead and through the app report a problem, take a photo of it, and annotate it. It would be timestamped there, so And if you're forcing is the wrong choice of words, but if you're asking your cleaners to go ahead and take photos every time for certain things, there's timestamps for every clean. So there's annotation showing that 2 weeks ago, this wasn't like this. This last week, it wasn't like this. After this specific this guest was there, this happened. So it helps you with fighting claims and that kind of thing as well. That's just an example.
It's very important.
Yeah, the last thing I kind of wanted to there's tons of smaller things we can get into that are pretty exciting, but we can add inventory items. So I can go ahead and create toilet paper, right? And I want to go ahead and have precise tracking. Great. So I'm going to hit next, and I'm going to say it's for all my properties. Great. Next. And I want that in this property, I want to report a problem if there are less than when there's 4 or less toilet paper rolls there, right? And this one, for whatever, they have more bedrooms, I want it 6 or less, right? I hit next. Now, this is mandatory that the cleaner, when they go to there, they have to count how many toilet papers are there. And if they report that they only have so many toilet paper, it'll create a problem that will show up here, and it'll also be on your dashboard, but there's a whole problem section. I don't have many problems here yet. It would be here, they're unresolved, and you can assign them to different people, and then you can make sure that they are solved. So, and then the next cleaner would know, hey, I need to come with 4 more rolls of toilet paper, so they're, you know, to resolve this problem.
Okay, awesome. That's very cool. So if you were to do, let's say, a general inventory, would you be able to, would you add them as a checklist, or would you add them as an inventory? When I'm saying a general inventory, you know, a couch, 4 chairs, table, just checking that those things are there. Would you add them as an inventory, or would you add them as like a checklist, because that you're just simply clicking them off?
See,
because knives and forks, toilet paper inventory, right? Because they commonly used things.
I would probably go ahead and add those as a checklist, because every time that you have to report a problem, it just takes it's a little more cumbersome for the cleaner, right? There's more for them to do. Yes. So I would probably say, I would create a, you know, when you're going room by room, I'd create one of the things that said, hey, report a problem if there aren't these.
Yes.
You know, that's how I would probably handle it. So, you know, there's 2 couches, 1 TV, you know, you're just double check. And the other thing you can do is you could just take a photo and put that in the checklist as well, for like staging purposes. Basically, if it doesn't look like this, and you could ask them to also take a photo. To say, you know, to show that it looks like the staging photo. And if that's the case, maybe you don't have to list everything up. Maybe the photo does it enough. It's your call as a host or property manager.
Well, that'd be quite interesting for an AI to be able to match the photos. You know, yes. So it takes a picture and it goes, gives you a big tick. Ding! Okay, well done. This is exactly how it's meant to be. And like a cross saying, no, you haven't prepared it the way it's meant to be. You know, so that's where you have like a quality control almost.
Yeah, that already exists. There are a few different AI functionalities that are doing that, and we may or may not be looking into that.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I'll take that as a hint. Sorry about that, but yeah, okay, no, cool. Good. Yeah, so okay, excellent, cool. Let's carry on.
Yeah, I mean, truly, I mean. Turno is relatively simple, and it's made to be simple. That's overall, that's pretty much the demo. I mean, there's, you know, you're adding to your team. I don't have a guest center or, you know, host services. That's part of the just checking in that we talked about. Checking in if you wanted to offer, like, I'm a host, I'm showing up. Here's a welcome basket, and I have someone on my team that will show up and welcome them to the property. That, I mean, overall, that's Turno in a nutshell and what we offer today. And yeah, we would love to work with whoever might be interested in working with us. I guess the last thing is, you know, globally, our marketplace cleaners are in certain areas. We're not in all areas. You know, of our 55,000 cleaners, you know, 40 plus of them are in North America, right? So, you know, that's where we got started, and that's, you know, certain areas, you know, we have a large amount of marketplace cleaners, like, you know, France, UK. We're expanding globally over there right now. That's our focus. We have some in Australia, but we're looking to continue to grow these as needs arise. You know, we just have to prioritize where our resources are going as far as like, how do we scale this?
Yeah, no, it's an exciting project, and I'm eager to watch you guys grow continuously as you're doing. You guys have done an amazing job so far.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's been awesome. I'm glad you invited us to come on and chat about Turno.
Cool. Well, thanks very much. So in closing, is there anything else that you feel are important that we need to identify, that you think that is a key for hosts watching this, that they need to know about, that would help them make their decision about your product or service?
No, it's a great question. I think if you are if you are a host and you're juggling and you're understand and you're like, oh, like this part of my, there's certain things about being a host that just sucks, right? You know it, you've been doing it. It's like it's not as glamorous as like the Instagram, says it's going to be. It's hard work being a host, right? It's, it's good money if you do it well, and but it's not an easy job. And our job is to help make that a little bit easier. And we're part of that automation. We're part of that tech stack. We want to be part of everyone's tech stack, right? How can we go ahead and do that? We know we can save you money. We know we can save you time. Yes, it costs a little bit to use us, but the time that is saved, it's you're going to be able to put your efforts towards other things. So if you're at all just kind of struggling with like, and I can't find a good cleaner, or I have one great cleaner, but I would love to go ahead and get a backup, reach out to us. You can either go to turno.com. Feel free to reach out to me directly. I'll happy to send you to one of my teammates. We're global, so we can go ahead and schedule them. I can be reached at john.stokinger@turno.com. That's john.stokinger@turno.com. And if I'm not the right person to talk to, I'll pass you off to one of my teammates.
John, thank you so much for your time and coming and showing us your wonderful product. I've obviously enjoyed working with your product so far, so I'm sure the other hosts will enjoy checking out. Is there a free trial or any of those kind of things that people can check out as well?
Yeah, absolutely. With our SaaS product, there's a 14-day free trial. So if you want to go ahead and kick the tires and go ahead and do that, we're here to facilitate that for you. And if we have a cleaner in your marketplace, I'd encourage you to go ahead and kick those tires as well. Because it never hurts to go ahead and add that extra cleaner, even if they're a backup to your backups, right? We know how hard it is to find, when you get in that crunch and someone's sick and then someone else is sick, and then you're like, oh shoot, now I'm the one that has to go clean, and I haven't cleaned in 2 years, right? Because I've had someone do that for me. You don't might necessarily want to go ahead and do that again. So I'd encourage you to go ahead and test out, our different verticals to see what might be a good fit for you.
Thanks very much, John, for your time and for showing us the product.
Absolutely. I appreciate you having me on. Thank you so much.